James here from guitarist.com, and today we're going to do a quick quiz to assess where you're at with your guitar skills. Now, I want to be clear and upfront. This is not about ranking people or making anyone feel bad. The whole point is to help you figure out what to work on next. So be honest with yourself as you go through it. And just a heads up, even if you get some wrong, it really doesn't matter. You know, every single thing in this video is teachable. So let's have some fun with it. We'll start with level 1, some basic chord knowledge. I want you to identify these chords as you watch me play them. So those are G, C, and D. Maybe that was obvious for you. Maybe you're newer to guitar and you're not quite familiar with those. Maybe you are familiar, but you just want to be able to switch seamlessly between them and to strum them with confidence, to use them to play songs. I do have you covered. I have a free ebook. It's completely free and it'll help you with all the fundamentals. There's a link down below for that. Now, our next question is related to rhythm. Can you count along to a song? And I'm talking about finding beat 1 and keeping a consistent count the entire time like this. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's something that you can practice just by listening to your favorite tunes and counting along. Now let's test your ears a little bit. Which note sounds higher? Even though the second note I played is on a thicker string and it sounds a little bit richer, it's actually the higher pitch. Next, I'd like to see if you can tell which strumming pattern has a more bluesy feel. So it would have been the first strumming pattern that feels a bit more bluesy, and a trick is to just see how long the downstrokes are. The downstrokes are a bit longer with a bluesy feel. Down, up, down, up. Now we're gonna match a melody to some chords. I'm gonna play the first bit of Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, and I want you to pick the version that sounds like it has the correct chords. So here's the first version. And the second version. Now, technically, both of those progressions worked with that melody, but the second one is what you would hear if you ever were to load up a recording of Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Moving on to level 2, we'll start off this level once again with some chords. And my question for you is, are you able to do 1 second switches using 2 or 3 chord shapes out of the basic chords, which I've written down here? So for instance, so I'm picking a couple chords out of there. I set my metronome to 60 beats per minute and I switch chords every time it clicks. Our next question also involves the metronome. Can you loop strumming patterns with a metronome? So we have our metronome playing and we just play. Over and over again. And I recommend being able to do this with the most common strumming pattern ever and the other 2 most common ones. And if you can do all 3 of those with a metronome, you are well on your way. Now I'm going to play a chord progression and I'm going to end on one of the chords out of that progression, and I want to know which one feels like home to your ears. one felt like we were landing on home base? To me, it was the second one. It was the G chord. So the G would be the tonic, and that's how you figure out the key of a song, is being able to feel like this feels like home. Anyways, let's add a couple more ear training questions. I'm going to play 2 chord progressions. One of them is major, one of them is minor, and I want you to tell me which is which. Progression 1. Progression 2. Notice I ended both of those on an F major chord, but it really felt like it was hanging, and your ear should be drawing you towards what you want to hear. So that for that first chord progression, and then it feels like it settles out on an A minor chord. So progression 1 was minor, and progression 2, no cry. No, it ends on a C chord and it sounds major. Anyways, for our final question for level 2, I'm going to play a chord progression and I'm going to change how I play it in terms of the rhythm. And I want you to tell me which one sounds like it fits better. First time I played it, I was pretty much locked in with the metronome, and the second time I was rushing. I was playing ahead of the metronome. So just go listen back to that once again with that in mind. All right, now we're finally going to get into some trickier stuff. This is level 3. My first question, once again, we're back into chords. Can you play the full F major and B minor bar chord shapes? For our next question, I'll have a G chord playing in the background. And now I'm going to play 2 triads over it. That's just a 3-note chord shape. And I want you to figure out which one sounds like it fits better. So the first time I played a G triad over a G chord and it fit great. The second time I played an A minor triad, and while it can come from the same key, you'll find A minor in the key of G. There's a lot more tension with that one when I play it. Still sounds beautiful, but it doesn't fit as cleanly as the G triad. Now I want to test a little bit of your technique. Can you play a minor pentatonic scale up and down using alternate picking? So down, up on every string. And a bit of a bonus or a follow-up to that, can you do that with hammer-ons and pull-offs? Hammer, hammer. Next, I want you to identify which lick fits better over a G chord. So that first lick, I was playing a G major pentatonic lick, and for the second lick, I was playing an A blues lick, and the G major pentatonic lick sounds like it fits better. Even though technically the other one works, it creates more tension and can be used in certain situations, but that other one fit better. Now, one last test. Which one of these 2 melody notes clashes with the F major chord? The first note was an A, which is a note from the F major chord, so it definitely fits. And the second note I played was A flat, which is not necessarily in the F major chord, and it kind of collides with that A note that we hear. But something really cool. That's a really well explored sound that the entire blues is based off of, you know? So the funny thing is there are exceptions to every rule, and I think that's one of the things that I was really planning on pointing out with this, you know, like that note can work with that F major chord. So how'd you do with this quiz? Let me know in the comments down below how many of these you got right or which ones you had trouble with. And seriously, whether you got just a few or all of them wrong, it doesn't matter. These are just checkpoints. Every single skill in this quiz is learnable. Nobody is born with a guitar in their hands. You know, it all comes down to putting some time into it, a little bit of practice, and having a passion for it is going to make all that happen. My free ebook is linked down below if you want some help with the chords, strumming basics, and if you want to keep working on these skills together, make sure to subscribe, or better yet, check out my premium membership on my website. There's links down below for everything. As always, have a fun time practicing, and I'll see you soon.